Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Ellen Vandenbrink. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist, and I'm really excited tonight to share about how to keep our heart and our blood vessels healthy, which is so important for good health. And for those of you who don't know me, I was introduced to Neolite over 27 years ago. And at the time, I was a concerned mom. I had two boys, and my younger son had a lot of respiratory issues. And I was looking for something to boost him up. So we were having dinner at a coworker's one night of my husband. And I couldn't believe how great she looked. She had more energy. She wasn't sick all the time. And so when I asked her what she was doing, she said, the only thing I'm doing different is I'm taking these Neolite products. And I was a little skeptical because I said, I've tried vitamins. They don't really work. She said, all I know is they're made from whole food. It's been around since 1958, and I'm not sick and tired anymore. So I got my son started on the products, and he did amazing, right? And just to clarify, these products don't treat, diagnose, or cure any disease, but it's amazing what the body can do when it has the right nutrients. And heart health is something really passionate for me. I was a very bad migraine sufferer, but so was my dad and my brother. But my dad had his first triple bypass at 39, and he had another one later. So I saw what it can do when you're dealing with heart disease. Like, it affects your energy, it affects your mood, it affects everything. So anyways, tonight we're going to share with you how you can keep a healthy heart. Nada, can you change the slide, please? Heart disease is the #1 killer in Canada. But the good news is 80% of it is preventable by lifestyle change. But what really is heart disease? Well, basically what it is when the blood supply to the heart is reduced or cut off. And often that's from clots or things like that. But who's at risk? Well, basically everyone's at risk. Like, a lot of people think it's a genetic thing, which it can have a genetic predisposition, but it's the lifestyle related factors that play a huge role in our heart, because our heart is the biggest muscle in our body. So things like smoking, lack of exercise, stress, deadly for the heart, and being overweight. But heart disease is preventable. Some nutrition related factors, well, too much of that bad stuff, especially those hydrogenated fats, are hidden in everything, and industrialized fats, refined sugar. Sugar is oxidative for the body, junk food, and not enough of those good things like omega-3s, fiber, and fruits and vegetables. Some of the diet-related indicators of heart disease, well, often when you go to your doctor, they do blood work, right? So high triglycerides is not good. It's definitely a danger zone. Elevated homocysteine, and that's something that the body produces when you don't have enough B6 or B12 or folic acid. High cholesterol is not good either. Oxidative stress, that happens in the body, and being overweight and obese is a big risk factor. So let's talk a little bit about your circulatory system. We think every day the heart beats 100,000 times and pumps 2,000 gallons of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels. So you think how complex our body is. And we have 200 billion red blood cells that are synthesized in the bone marrow. So what elevated cholesterol does, it could result in what they call atherosclerosis, which is hardening of those arteries and other vascular tissues. Some people get it in the legs too. It can be different areas of the body. And that's why diet plays a role to causing that fat to deposit, especially the oxidized fat. So when you look at a blood vessel, you can see the very top one, there's a little bit of damage, that's happened. But the body, it tries to heal itself. So what it does is it sends cholesterol to heal it. And that's what starts that fatty streak that you can see in the second one. Then this builds up and it starts creating a fibrous plaque until it can be a very large plaque, which obstructs the artery. Cholesterol is only dangerous when it oxidizes, when it lands in that artery, because we do need it for certain functions of the body. So there's two types of cholesterol. There's the high density lipoproteins, which we often hear of being called HDL. And it's a good idea to get your doctor to give you the breakdown of the HDL and the LDL. The HDL, they kind of call the good cholesterol. It's not really a cholesterol, it's a lipoprotein, but it carries the fat from the tissues to the liver so we can dump it out of the body. That's why you want your HDL higher. The LDL, or the low density lipoprotein, is what is referred to as the bad cholesterol. That's the one that causes more of the plaque and blocks the arteries. So how are these blocked arteries repaired? Well, the standard medical way is coronary bypass surgery, open heart surgery, or balloon angioplasty. So those are ways, but the problem is that treats the symptoms. If you don't go to the cause of what's causing this, like with my dad, he ended up having to have a second bypass surgery because he didn't correct the issue. So let's talk a little bit about detecting high blood pressure and heart disease. Pain in the chest that radiates to the shoulders or backs or arm, usually on the left side or to the neck, back, or jaw. That can be a sign of a heart attack. Just to clarify too, women get different types of symptoms than men. With men, they get pressure or burning sensation in the chest, where women get more nauseous. It's a little bit different. It can be shortness of breath. That's common with both of them, the nausea, dizziness, or fainting. Often, a lot of people think they have indigestion, and sometimes it's always a good idea to get it checked, fatigue and excessive sweating. So when you talk about strokes affect the brain. So what basically that is when you get a clot to the blood vessel to the brain. So it can cause paralysis, which can be temporary or permanent, and kidney damage. So if you definitely want to keep track of it, there's 4 different types of strokes. 2 are caused by a rupture or hemorrhage of the arteries. You've heard like an aneurysm or something like that. And 2 are caused by clots that block the flow. So they're caused by different types of things. So what are some of the warning signs of stroke? Well, sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg on one side of the body, sudden dimness or loss of vision, especially in one eye. You see people will mumble, they lose their speech, very difficult to understand them or trouble talking. Sometimes a sudden severe headache with no known cause, or unexplained unsteadiness, dizziness, or sudden falls. Those can all be symptoms of stroke. So you definitely want to take care of that. What's some of the risk factors of stroke? Well, as we get older, of course, males are more prone to strokes than women. Race can have a factor. Diabetes, of course, because diabetes is terrible for the blood vessels and for the heart. Prior stroke, hereditary, and you talk in your neck, there's that carotid artery. Some people have blockages there as well. So talk a little bit about stress, because stress, it puts our body into fight or flight, right? And then we shut down digestion, our heart rate elevates. So people who are type A behavior, those are the people who go, never relax. They've actually recognized that as a risk factor for heart disease. So it's a good idea to chill out, right? What are some of the symptoms of a type A person? They're very irritated and impatient if they're waiting in lines. They always feel pressed for time. Everything has to be done on time. They cut you off. They don't let you finish your sentence, right? Always trying to show others how to do things correctly. They're perfectionists to the T. When they play games, they have to win all the time, and they never relax. So my brother's a classic type A personality. So how do we prevent hypertension and heart disease? Well, cut the bad fats from your diet. That's a good thing. So you want to have good fats, but not bad fats. Be careful with salts, especially for people prone to high blood pressure. Put away that salt shaker, and avoid canned and processed foods because they're very high in sodium. Lower your cholesterol, no smoking or alcohol, exercise regularly, keep your blood sugar in the glycemic zone. We talk about that all the time, and it helps everything in the body. Keep your stress in check, and of course, have good quality nutritional supplementation. So if you look at not only the American Heart Association, but Canada is the same. What is their strategy for diet and heart disease? Vegetables and fruits, whole grains, and fatty fish, just the same as that Lancet study. Here's the World Health Organization. Again, more fruits and vegetables, nuts and whole grains, omega-3 fatty acids, and maintain a healthy weight. So again, it's all lifestyle related things. And now I'd like to introduce Nada, and she's going to share with us the 3 keys to optimal health and what we can do to keep ourselves healthy.
Thanks, Mary Ellen. 30 years ago when I was introduced to Neolife, I was working as a police officer in Toronto. And, I have to say that working in that environment with shift work and, And with all the guys that I worked with, a lot of fast food eaters, and it was scary, the issues that they struggled with cholesterol, and it was also interesting that the statistics of how many police officers, when they retire, they usually end up having a heart attack, when they finally leave the job. And diet is so important. And I'm so excited to share this information with you because, my dad is in his 80s now. And some of you know, I've shared his story many years ago when I started using Neolite 30 years ago. My dad had some issues. They wanted to put him on blood pressure medication. And, he just said to me, fix me up. And we looked at everything, diet, supplementation, looked at some of the Neolite products, and what a difference. He is medication free, and he's in his 80s, which is very, very rare. And, when you're looking at the 3 keys to optimal health, you do have to look at weight management, your diet and physical activity. Okay, that's really, really important. And water should be your drink of choice. Okay, you should be drinking a lot of water throughout the day. It composes 75% of your brain. It helps to carry nutrients and oxygen to your cells. There's so many benefits of drinking good, clean, filtered water. But what's even more exciting is the Canadian Food Guide, when they made their changes back in 2019. Okay. We should be eating a variety of healthy foods each day, and half your plate should be comprised of, your dark colored fruits and veggies, a little bit of protein, a little bit of whole grain, again, water. Is very, very important. And, we hear this all the time, you are what you eat. And the reality is that 75% of chronic diseases are preventable. Okay, through dietary changes. And that's really, really important. So good nutrition can help lower the risk of many chronic diseases. And that's what we're going to focus on this evening. And this study that Marilyn mentioned that came out of Lancet talked about how what we aren't eating is killing us. And it was a global study. And we're going to talk about some of these nutrients, because when I looked at Neolite over 30 years ago, I didn't realize that it's what they were doing to our food, processing and milling our grains and removing some of these critical nutrients. And this is one of the reasons why I had fatigue issues and PMS. I really struggled with dealing stress at my job. And now Marilyn's going to talk a lot about stress in relation to heart disease as well. So let's talk about some of these nutrients that we're not getting enough of. And, we hear about it all the time, the whole grains, low fruit, nuts, seeds, low omega-3 and low vegetables. So let's talk about the grains, because our grains today are no longer whole. They're milled, they're processed. Our grains, used to have a day or 2 shelf life, like our breads and our pastas. And now how long, right, do our breads and pastas last? You're looking at weeks and years and months. So, it's kind of scary that we can no longer get whole grains in our diet anymore, because they take out what goes bad. They remove these essential lipids and phytosterols so that our foods have a longer shelf life. And we're now 3rd and 4th generation kids not having these critical oils, these essential fatty acids in our diet. And they remove all these critical nutrients. And then they enrich our flour with synthetic nutrients. Okay, so it is perhaps one of the most critical deficiencies in our diet, and that was a statement that was made from a medical doctor. And so that's where supplementation comes in. Like when I looked at supplementing, I thought, wow, I'm eating a healthy diet. Why do I need to supplement? Well, as you can see, supplements don't replace your food. They just help to fill the gap. And that's what we're going to focus on today. But who do you trust? Right? There's so many products on the market. Researchers found from 2007 to 2016, 776 products marketed as dietary supplements contained hidden active ingredients that are unsafe or unstudied. And even when I looked at this over 30 years ago, there was a study that was done where they tested so many products off the shelf and found inactive ingredients. Okay, this has been going on for years. So you just don't know who to trust when you do buy products off the shelf. And, when I looked at Neolite, my mom was taking supplements and she was struggling with a lot of aches and pains and fibromyalgia, and the supplements she was taking did not work. So I was kind of skeptical looking at this, but I really knew we needed to try something. And the products were recommended by a friend and a neighbor, and she had really good results. And that's when I took a closer look at Neolite You know, they have been around since 1958, established in over 50 countries. They have a lot of firsts in the industry and a really incredible scientific research team that work together in developing and researching the products. And their foundation, made from whole food, not just natural, because natural could be anything from the earth. So all the Neolite products are made from food and non-GMO since 1958. Okay, so these are our scientists. I had the opportunity of meeting Dr. First, and many of you on tonight have met some of our scientific advisory board. They speak at our conventions, and they'll be speaking in July at our convention. We're so grateful to be to know these guys in person, to hear their research and science, and they work together in developing and researching the products. They don't just endorse the product. And Dr. First, the founding member of our scientific advisory board, top toxicologist and pharmacologist. So he's world renowned. So we're so grateful to have such an amazing team of scientists to produce exceptional quality products. And a lot of the products have been published in third-party peer-reviewed medical journals, and that's really important as well. So let's talk about the Pro Vitality Pack, because when we looked at the Lancet study, we looked at the grain oils and the fruits and vegetables and fish. Well, again, these are things that we're not getting enough of. So this incredible pack that Neolite put together helps to fill those nutritional gaps. And we're going to talk about these 4 products that are in this little convenient pack. The Tran and Grain Concentrate are those grain oils, those essential lipids and phytosterols from whole grain, and less gluten than a bowl of gluten-free cereal, developed for a hospital research study to promote cellular energy and efficiency. And this plays such a big role in just getting your cells working better, making sure the nutrients absorb in through that cell wall and toxins leave the cell. So when you don't have these grain oils in your diet, the cell looks like the cell on the left. When you add the grain oils to your diet, the cells look like the cell on the right, where nutrients can get in and toxins can get out. This is critical because everything in your body is trillions and trillions of cells, especially your heart, okay? So very, very important that you make sure your cells are working properly. And Texas A&M University, they proved that the Tran will help your cells absorb nutrients in your diet by 50% more, okay? So let's talk about your fruits and veggies. They say that we should be eating, up to 13 servings of dark colored fruits and vegetables, right? Every day. It's a challenge. So this carotenoid, the one little dark capsule that's in this vitality pack, when you take 1 pack a day, one of these capsules, after a month of doing 1 a day, it's equivalent to consuming 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables in every box. And the USDA and the CDC researchers, they proved that it'll help boost your immune system 37% in 20 days, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, presented at the New York Academy of Sciences, and it was patented. And remember when Mary Ellen talked about the plaque oxidizing in the arteries? Well, the carotenoids have proven to prevent that oxidative damage, to prevent the plaque from oxidizing and forming plaque. So it's really, really important that you protect your arteries, and that's what the carotenoids do. That's what antioxidants do, and that's why it's important to consume more dark colored fruits and vegetables to protect you from rusting from the inside out, okay? So they talk about heart disease and inflammation being like a silent killer. It's a secret killer because this is going on inside, and sometimes you don't know it's even happening, okay, until some of the signs, and sometimes it could be too late. So that's why supplementation and omega-3 fish oil plays such a big role in helping to reduce inflammation, protecting your cardiovascular system. And the Neolite Salmon Oil Plus is tested for 200 contaminants with an allowance of 0. Okay, and it was proven in clinical trials to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks. Okay, really, really important. Also helps to reduce triglycerides, right, by 17%. Again, lowers inflammation. So this is so important, plays such a big role in heart health, circulation, blood pressure, blood flow. And, when we talk about nutrients and the Neolite products, we're not saying we can cure any condition. Okay, that's not what Neolife is all about. But it's amazing how when you give your body the proper nutrients, right, and you change your diet, how your body starts to change, and you can really reverse some of the damage that you've done to your body, or even slow down or protect your body. Okay, so prevention is really, really important, but it's amazing how changing your diet can really turn things around. Now, omega-3 also, when you're looking at our kids and pregnant moms, and I have to say that our salmon oil is safe. A lot of fish oils on the market, when you read the labels, it's don't take if you're pregnant. They're even telling pregnant moms not to eat any fish because of the mercury and lead levels. But this product is safe, and we were featured in the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists as having a fish oil product that's safe for mom and baby, and that's really important. So high triglycerides, it is a primary indicator of elevated risk of cardiovascular disease, okay? A reflection of a diet too high in fat, a family trait. So you really need to look at, reducing your triglycerides, and that's where the salmon oil, the omega-3 plays such a big role in getting into your arteries and getting that proper balance, the proper ratio of the omega-3s in your body. So it's really important to have that balance to improve your cholesterol levels. And the last capsule in that pack is a multivitamin. So I like to call it like the Cadillac of multi, because you're not just getting a multivitamin in the pack. You're getting your grain oils, you're getting your fish oil, you're getting your carotenoids, and you're getting a multivitamin in that convenient pack, okay? So this amazing pack does so much for you. Energy, vitality, again, all the nutrients in there help to support a healthy cardiovascular system and lifelong cellular health. So such an incredible product. Now let's talk about our kids. I mean, there's so many children today that are, walking around with high cholesterol and high blood pressure. It's kind of scary. Yeah, but they're out there. And so, by helping our kids make better food choices, eating more fruits and vegetables, taking a good quality supplement like the LipoVite for babies, or the chewable Vita Squares, or the VitaGuard is like that Pro Vitality pack. And then adding the salmon oil as soon as they're ready to swallow, or we have kids actually chewing the salmon oil plus, which is pretty awesome. So let's talk about our breakfast and protein, because protein also plays a really big role in getting your body healthy. And the Neolife shake is completely natural. Okay, it has all 22 amino acids. It's easy to digest, has some fiber, has that glycemic control response, all your vitamins and minerals, and whole food antioxidants. Because I really find that breakfast is probably one of the hardest meals to start in a healthy way. Bacon and eggs is, some of your popular ways to start your morning, are usually carbohydrates. A lot of people eat a lot of carbs in the morning, or nothing. Okay, so this protein shake is a complete meal replacement. It's a great way to start your morning. There's nothing artificial. Tastes absolutely fantastic. I do put a lot of greens in mine and berries just to make sure I'm getting, reaching my 13 servings of dark colored fruits and vegetables every day. There's no preservatives, 90% lactose free, no GMO ingredients, no gluten. And Mary Ellen, I know these are your grandbabies. They grew up on the products. It reminds me of when my kids were little, they grew up on the products as well as babies. So it's a product that's safe for babies and young children, which is so, so good. And it gets your blood sugar in that glycemic control zone, okay? Great for weight loss, diabetes, prevents fat storage, promotes fat burning, and sustained energy, okay? So really important to keep that blood sugar in that glycemic control zone so that you have that energy sustained all day, and so important for your cardiovascular system to keep a healthy heart, okay? So if you do have some weight to lose, I have to say that this is a very simple program for weight management. If you just need to lose an extra 10 pounds, or if you have a lot of weight to lose, you can replace 2 meals. We have amazing stories of people losing weight just doing the 1 protein shake a day, but then having your mini meals and eating healthy snacks throughout the day. But if you have a lot of weight to lose, and you can definitely replace 2 meals and have your protein, carb snacks in between, and a healthy dinner at the end of the day. I really enjoy the weight loss program, or the weight management program, because it doesn't disrupt your family mealtime. So you're not having to prepare and cook special meals. Your whole family can eat healthy in this balanced form. So it's an incredible program. And it was clinically proven to not only lose weight, but very cardioprotective. Okay, 15% reduction in LDL, bad cholesterol, and improves the HDL to the ratio of your LDL cholesterol. So, and it reduces your body mass index. So again, really important for your cardiovascular health. So Marilyn, let's talk about some of the challenges we have with our weight and what people are doing today.
Yeah, Nada, that's so true because, you can see that guy there's got a bit of a gut. They kind of call that the heart attack gut because being overweight definitely increases your risk for heart disease. And a lot of this is because of what we call our portion distortion, right? 20 years ago, look at how small that donut was and look at it today and look at the difference in the calories, but it's not just the calories, it's all the fat and sugar. And look at French fries too. They went from a little teeny bag to these huge boxes. And when you go for fast food, everything is like double and triple the size. So again, watching your portion control can make a huge impact on your weight. Sometimes even using a smaller dinner plate helps. So let's talk about the health impact. Well, body weight is directly associated with increased heart risk factors and other risk factors as well for your joints and all sorts of things. As your BMI increases, that's your body mass index. Oftentimes, blood pressure increases, your LDL and your triglycerides, your blood sugar, and of course, inflammation, which is one of the deadliest causes. And while these changes translate into an increased risk for coronary heart disease, stroke, and cardiovascular death. But the good news is even 5 to 10% of body weight can lower blood pressure. And that's why when you see a lot of the testimonials will share, like Ada's mom, once she lost the weight, her blood pressure went down, her cholesterol and triglycerides went down. And this is Gabby. And Gabby was 30 years old and her husband was only 40. And he was not taking care of his diabetes and it actually damaged his heart. And he died at 40 years old of heart disease, leaving her with a 4-month-old and 2 young children. And she decided to take charge of her health. And you can see here, she lost 34 pounds. And look at 5 years later. What's really great about this program is it's a lifestyle change, a healthy lifestyle change. And she's still in great shape and looking wonderful today and a great role model as a mom for her kids. And this is Carlos. He was another one had, uncontrolled heart issues, diabetes. And once he actually lost a lot of weight, 251 pounds. And the nice thing was too, is although he lost the fat, he didn't lose his muscle. So he didn't get all the saggy skin. And I actually asked him personally if he ever had to have surgery. And he said, no, not at all. And it just made such a huge impact on his health. So let's now to cover the basic foundation. And all of those things, as she shared, play a big role in our heart health. But let's tune in a little bit if you need to add a little more on. So one of my favorite products is the CoQ10 because what does low CoQ10 do? Well, it affects your muscle function. And what's your heart? It's the biggest muscle in your body. It reduces energy because a lot of people feel tired, right? That's the number one complaint heard by medical doctors. And it increases your disease risk. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, migraines, all sorts of different impacts on the body. And the Neolite has an amazing solution. And when they brought this product out, I was very excited because we've been asking for a CoQ10, but the scientists would not bring it out until they could find a complete natural solution. So this is incredible to add with the breakfast pack. So why would we need CoQ10? Well, did you know almost all medications deplete it in the body, especially heart medications like statins that lower cholesterol? They're notorious for it. And the reason for this is, I won't get into too much technicality, the sciences, but you have a pathway that actually that works with your muscle, right? Well, when you stop cholesterol, you also stop the coenzyme Q10 levels. So it stops both pathways. So that's why a lot of people who are on statins, you hear them say they got muscle pain and things. And it's kind of scary because you think about it, if the heart is the biggest muscle, it needs muscle support. So you need to, if you do have to take statins, it's very important to supplement with CoQ10. CoQ10. But you know what? It's not just for people on statins, it's for everyone. Because as we get older, you can see that curve. We just don't produce it anymore. And it's so important for the energy mitochondria in the cells. Like we all need it. And maybe that's when people get older too. That's why they have so many muscle aches and pains, because their CoQ10 levels, especially if you exercise and you don't recover, that's often a sign as well. So, and of course, it's missing in our foods, not just these junk foods, but it's processed out of a lot of the foods that people eat. So the difference with the Neolite CoQ10, as I mentioned, it's completely natural source and has a mitogenic phytolipid and sterol blend. So you know when Nata was talking about those lipids and sterols that are processed from our grains, they put some of this in here as well. And it's also got a polyphenol blend. And I don't know if a lot of you are aware, but you know, with your blood vessels, one of the biggest supporters to keep them strong and elastic and functioning, because that's what happens when they start having issues. And even that's a big problem that they're finding with people with COVID too. Their blood vessels are being compromised. Polyphenols are very powerful for supporting the blood vessels. It also has L-cysteine, which is important for glutathione production. And also it's very absorbable in the body. It's super absorbed. So Nata, would you like to share your friend Dean's story?
Absolutely. So Dean and I go way back. We were police officers together over 30 years ago. And I remember, he's always been on Neolite when I started, using the products on the job, and he's always used the products. But we didn't have CoQ10 until, as Mary Ellen said, recently. And a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, I guess he reached out to me, and he was having some issues with his heart. And it was recommended by a naturopath for him to take CoQ10. So it says here, I've been taking CoQ10 for a few years for a heart condition I was diagnosed with 13 years ago by a cardiologist in Toronto, a condition called paroxysmal tachycardia. The medication I was given had side effects that were not nice. I felt like I was having a heart attack. I stopped the medication under the guidance of a naturopathic doctor and started taking. He took a coenzyme CoQ10 twice daily along with curcumin for inflammation. And it wasn't a Neolite product. It was something that was recommended by his naturopath because we didn't have this yet. And then as soon as he got the email that Neolite launched the CoQ10, he called me. He couldn't wait to get started because even though he was getting some benefits from this CoQ10, it wasn't 100%. He was still having some small challenges. It worked better than the pharmaceutical drug as the rapid increase in the pulse rate disappeared with no side effects. He still wasn't 100%. So that was the first CoQ10. The Neolite CoQ10, as soon as it was launched, I tried 2 bottles for 2 months, replacing the same amount because ours has the curcumin. It worked even better. No palpitations, no more rapid pulse rates at all. And now I'll be using it exclusively as it works fantastic for my condition. So I was really excited to get this because he was the first kind of real testimonial that we got early on as soon as we launched the CoQ10. So grateful for his story.
Yeah, so, and that's a very common condition because a lot of people think they're, having a heart attack when their heart starts racing, and it's very dangerous. So it's amazing that the CoQ10 could support that so well. And so, of course, by supplementing with the Neolite CoQ10, you bring yourself up to the level you should be. So it's an amazing product. So I talked a little bit before about that homocysteine, and it's a metabolic byproduct that damages the arteries when it's at high levels. So you can actually get this as a test. You can ask your doctor, and you can get them to test to see what your levels are. So it was found that 60% of people who die from heart disease have no risk factors like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or obesity. The other 60% of the people have the risk factors. The other 40% did not have the risk factors, but they had high homocysteine levels. Homocysteine is a better marker for heart disease than cholesterol because it can be one of the most consistent risk factors for heart disease. And you think about it, it's a deficiency of B vitamins. And what does stress do? It depletes B vitamins. And this is where stress definitely plays a role. And it's also high homocysteine levels are linked with dietary deficiencies of certain nutrients. So you think it's caused from a vitamin deficiency, basically. So Neolife brought out an incredible product called Lipotropic Adjunct. Lipo means fat and tropic means hunter. So it's a fat hunter. And it also has the B6, B12, and folic acid to lower these homocysteine levels. Plus also some lipotropic factors of choline and inositol, which are great for the liver support and help the cholesterol, right? They keep those fats emulsified in the bloodstream. It's a complete supply of homocysteine lowering nutrients and lipotropic factors. So it's a wonderful add-on to the heart program. It provides nutritional support of healthy heart and circulatory system. I've even had people who have really cold hands and feet, and taking our vitamin E and lipo, they get the circulation back. And it's concentrated whole food lipotropic factors, improve vitamin B12 absorption because they add the betaine hydrochloric acid, and then some citrus bioflavonoids to support, again, your vascular health. So it's a really complete formula. Another thing that helps with cholesterol is increasing your fiber. Because we're supposed to have 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day. That's even for colon health as well. So the Neolife all natural fiber it's all natural. It doesn't have any chemicals, and it has all the different forms of fiber. And it definitely does help lower cholesterol. It also makes you fuller and helps with blood sugar as well. So it's an incredible product. So it has all 5 forms of soluble and insoluble fibers. Most of the time, if you get something like bran, you only get the soluble fiber. And a lot of times bran is very rough. It can be scratchy in the colon. And so it has cellulose, hemicellulose, gums, lignans, and pectin from 12 natural sources. So each serving gives you 7 to 8 grams of fiber to help you get closer to your 25 to 35 grams. It's all natural. It's made with Neopoly5, a unique formula of specially selected fibers that help promote healthy cholesterol levels. And some of the other benefits of fiber, well, it's very good for our gastrointestinal health, for our gut. It helps regularity because, again, if you're constipated, that's not good, all those toxins in the body. Helps regulate blood sugar. And it helps to make us feel more full, so it helps us lose weight because we're not hungry all the time. Another great product that helps with high blood pressure, hypertension, is the garlic allium complex. And the reason for this is when you're under stress, your adrenal glands sit on your kidneys, right? And so stress causes the adrenal gland to go into fight or flight and pump more, which squeezes those kidneys and can actually cause the blood pressure to go up 80 points in 15 minutes. It can cause blood vessels in the brain to rupture, and there's no medication to stop the kidneys to shut down on a blood pressure surge. But garlic has the ability to send a signal through the bloodstream to the kidneys in less than 17 minutes. It causes the kidneys to relax, causing hypertension and high blood pressure surges to make a major drop. And I know, Nata, your dad had this was one of the key products with him.
This definitely was one of the key products. And it was interesting because, being European way back then, he was making his own homemade wine. And they told him that if, he had to go on the blood pressure medication, but he couldn't drink any of his homemade wine. And that's when he said, now that fixed me up. And that was it. Put him on the garlic, increase a little bit of the salmon and the vitamin E. And that was it. He never had to go on any blood pressure medication.
Yeah, which is amazing because they have a lot of side effects, the medications. And of course, if you need them, it's necessary. But if you can do it naturally, it's so much better. So it increases your increase your intake of cardioprotective foods, and garlic has been shown to have healthy blood pressure and cholesterol levels as well. So it's got 2 benefits. It helps with hypertension caused by stress, enzyme imbalances, defects in sodium metabolism, nutritional deficiencies, and arteriosclerosis. And some of the symptoms, some people get like a swishing in their ear, heat in the back of their neck, or headaches. Some people have no symptoms at all, though. A powerhouse vitamin is vitamin E. It's one of the #1 nutrients for cardiovascular disease to help with stroke, hemorrhages, varicose veins, phlebitis, and angina. It actually helps the blood flow. So it controls the consistency of the blood. So it keeps things moving. It prevents blood clots. It dilates capillaries, which help the blood flow better. And it does thin the blood. So if you're going in for surgery or if you're on blood thinning medications, you do have to use caution with this product, absolutely. There's a lot of great research studies from the Shoot Clinic in London, and also even to help with gangrene. So let's look at trying to get vitamin E from our diet. Well, it's almost impossible to get it from the foods we eat. The recommended daily allowance is 30, but they're actually saying you should have more closer to 400 for the optimal levels of vitamin E. So just to get 30, let's show you some examples. You could eat 2.5 pounds of spinach, which is 297 calories, not too bad. 8.5 pounds of broccoli, which is like over 1,000 calories. 2.25 pounds of brown rice, which is like 1,200 calories. 10 pounds of bacon, 26,000 calories. 8 pounds of peas, 4,200 calories, or 124 slices of whole wheat bread. So as you can see, our foods are very deficient in vitamin E right now. And you do need some vitamin E, absolutely. So another big product in the heart program is magnesium, because magnesium, a lot of times when people get that arrhythmia where their heart is kind of racy, it can be because you're low in magnesium. And again, a lot of our foods are low now in magnesium. And if you exercise a lot and sweat a lot, you lose your magnesium. And symptoms linked to low magnesium can be neurological, muscular, cardiovascular. Here's the irregular or rapid heartbeat, or coronary spasms. I know even Dr. Liz Applegate shared at convention when she introduced the magnesium that she did have a little bit of a rapid heartbeat, and her doctor told her to take magnesium, and when she did, it controlled it. So that's how powerful it could be. So where do we find it in food? Because you want to eat it in diet as well. Dark green leafy veggies, nuts, whole grains, fruits, legumes, and fatty fish. Why don't we get enough magnesium? Well, the levels in our diet are decreasing. Part of it could be poor food choices, but a lot of refined diets, it's processed out of our foods now, and just not enough overall intake. And bioavailability is declining. So up to 60 to 70% of food-based magnesium is not absorbed, and a lot of our lifestyle factors do interfere with it as well. And of course, the levels of the foods decreasing because of crop soil depletion. So Neolite has this great natural product called Magnesium Complex with a Tri-Mag and Phyto-Mag complex, and it is kosher certified. And it has multiple forms of magnesium for maximum benefit. And as you know, like all our minerals, they're double amino acid chelated, which means it's absorbed 5 times higher than most minerals out there. There's also organically bound magnesium citrate and natural earth form magnesium oxide. So to help with that stress issue, one of my most favorite products is aloe vera juice, because it can help with constipation, immune system, and it'll help with normal blood sugar levels, respiratory support, soothes digestion, especially if you're stressed and your digestive system shut down. It's wonderful for that and promotes healing. And also balances inflammation. And of course, that's a big risk factor for heart disease, and reduces feelings of stress. So it has, as you can see, I'm not going to go into all the different ingredients, but all the different things that aloe does. It purifies the blood. It helps with acne, stomach cramps. The chamomile is great for insomnia, antibacterial, ginseng, potassium, magnesium, passion flower, and vitamin C. So it's packed with nutrients. So again, the foundation is the Pro Vitality and Neolife Shake, the breakfast pack. That's the foundation. But if you do need a little bit of extra support, as we talked about some of the products that help, or like extra salmon oil. I know for my migraines, I do the 2 extra salmon oil along with my Pro Vitality pack. The CoQ10 is wonderful. Garlic, again, it depends what conditions you're dealing with. Extra carotenoids are good for that oxidative damage of the cholesterol, lipo, E, magnesium, and aloe vera. So if you're kind of wondering where you can purchase these products, Nada, would you like to share how we can join our wellness club?
I will, but before I get to that stage, I have another story that I would love Leonie to share, her amazing testimonial. Leonie, can you share?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Nada. Sometime over a year ago, I had been suffering from heart pains, and it was always in the chest area. And I did the stress test. My doctor was saying, "Okay, this is what you got to do." They didn't find anything wrong at the time, and then I still was getting pains in my chest and my breathing and all that. And she said, "Okay, I want you to go for an angiogram." So I did that thing, that angiogram thing, and I was a little concerned because of the fact that they said, well, if they find any blockage, they would have to put a stent. And I don't like to put anything in my body, right? So we don't want anything foreign. So anyway, so before that, that was December. So I decided that I was going to put myself, you guys recommended the heart program, and which consists of some of these supplements here. And basically it's a 30-day heart program. And because of COVID, I didn't really know what my appointment was going to be. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to start it, and whenever they say come, you just come. So I was on it for 30 days, and then 40 days, and then 50 days. And then finally they called me and they said, okay, just come in and we'll do your little procedure. So yes, I have a lot of stress. And I'm a bit of a type A, but not all the type A things that we have, but a lot of stress. So anyway, so the doctor, the surgeon went in, and then he said, you know what? He says, you have absolutely no blockage. Now, a person my age, I'm not exactly young anymore, but then by this time, I would say the first 40 years of my life, I had, didn't really pay attention to my diet and eating all the wrong stuff and the fatty stuff and that. And he says there was no blockage. Plus, he said, you have a heart of a teenager. And I was just fit to be tied because this old ticker is still going. And you know what? I am so happy, and I'm not on any medication either. So that's fantastic. And I do know it is the heart program, and I'm still on the maintenance. I'll take the supplements necessary, but it's amazing. So I'm so grateful. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I know, Leonie, you also made some changes to your diet. You've
Yes.
added a lot more greens, a lot more
Yes.
fruits and vegetables, and
Yes.
it's a combination of adding
exercise.
Exercise too, which all plays a role.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing. And and this is one of the reasons why, when I got involved with Neolite, it wasn't to build a business. It was to use the products, share the products with my family and my friends. And if you're, wondering how to get a hold of these products like I did over 30 years ago, we have a wellness club that you can join for free. Okay. And as soon as you become a member of the wellness club, you automatically get 15% off. And when you go on auto ship, so that those packs that we talked about, whether it be Vitality Pack or the breakfast pack, as soon as you go on auto ship, you get the product at wholesale. So a 25% savings, and you can get all your shipping back. Okay, as long as you stay on auto ship. And also we have a referral program, whereas if you refer 3 people to one of those health packs, yours is free every single month. Okay, so we also have some fitness challenges and weight loss challenges. If you're someone that would like to join a group just to be more accountable, we have regular workouts every morning that you can join. So we really have a great support group if you're looking at making some changes to your life. So these are the different health packs that you can get on auto ship that we were talking about. So the Vitality Pack by itself, or if you're really, struggling with the breakfast and are looking for good quality protein, when you add the protein shake, it's called the breakfast pack. And then the weight loss pack is when you're doing 2 protein shakes a day. Okay, but the best seller is definitely our breakfast pack. Okay, and there's also an incredible Facebook group that we can invite you to. When we become friends on Facebook, or the person that invited you, then they can invite you to this group. And there's already over 8,000 members in this group. And this is where you can find so many amazing video testimonials, written testimonials, a lot of science behind the products. So it's just a great support group to learn more about the products. And then there's one more option. When I was working on the police force, I really thought that I was having an impact and helping people and making a difference. But when I realized the benefit of the products that Neolite had in my health and my family, I knew there was more. I wanted to do more with my life and really have an impact on people's lives, helping them with their health. So if you're, someone like me, or you really like helping others and making a difference and having that impact, This is a great support group, and we have an amazing business opportunity. Where can you start a business for less than $100? Not very many businesses. And, if you're just looking at, an extra $500 a month, $1,000, or like myself, when I was making, an extra $1,000 to $2,000, then I realized that I wanted to stay home and wanted time freedom, wanted to start a family. And I built the business very part-time that didn't interfere with what I was presently doing at my regular job. And eventually I replaced my income and my husband's income, and we were both able to leave the police force and just have the time freedom that we really, really wanted. So if you're looking at that, amazing opportunity. If you're looking at, there's a tax savings at the end of the year, that's what I was excited about the first year of my business, just having a great tax write-off. So we invite you to take a look at the business. If you have any questions, we have a great, another Facebook group we can invite you to. It's called The Ideal Business. And this is where you can just hear more stories on the business and success stories and what people did and how they built their Neolite businesses. So again, when I met Mary Ellen, you were a law clerk, right? You were stressed, I think, when I met you, and maybe some of the challenges you had when you were looking at the business.
Yeah, I was the same as you, Nat. I just wanted to get my family healthy. But, once we got such great results, I just couldn't help but start sharing our story with my friends and family. And all of a sudden I started generating extra money. And at the time, even though, I was working as a law clerk and my husband was a police officer, we still seemed to run out of money before we ran out of months. So having that extra income was so handy. And then it just grew and grew, and it gave us such a great purpose, because when you're helping people, it's not work. It's so easy to share, and I just love what I'm doing. And I ended up quitting my job at the law firm, and my husband's retired, and now we're enjoying life, and we do the business at our leisure, and it's residual income. It's just like I was so thankful that I bumped into that without even realizing it, because I never thought of myself as a business person. So I always work for somebody.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a great journey, spending time with you over many, many years of building our businesses together. And I find that that's another thing. You develop friendships and you become like a family, like a second family. And you just work together. You don't do this by yourself. We work together as a team, which is so much fun. So whether you're just wanting to look at how to, use the products at a discount, we welcome you as a club member. If you're curious about the part-time income, or that can eventually lead to a professional income, like myself and Mary Ellen, just ask us, and we'd be willing to just share a little bit more. And if you're not quite ready yet, you just like to research a bit more, take a look at the 2 different Facebook groups that we shared with you tonight. And we will be stopping the recording, so you can ask any questions that you may have from what you heard this evening. So I just want to thank you for joining us this evening, and all the best to you all.